All right, now let's get to that closely watched special congressional election in Pennsylvania as we still await the official results in the matchup between Republican Rick Saccone and Democrat Conor Lamb. The race, which, by the way, is still too close to call, drawing national attention as a bellwether for the midterms where control of Congress is at stake. And while Conor Lamb has declared victory, Rick Saccone's not conceding just yet.
Took a little longer than we thought, but we did it. We're practical people. We're serious people. And tonight, we celebrate regaining our voice and our vote in the great business of governing this country we love.
You know, we're still fighting the fight. It's not over yet. We're going to fight all the way to the end. You know, I never give up. You know, my first race went into the night and we won that. My second race was the same way. I mean, we're kind of used to this.
Joining us now is Tom LoBianco, a reporter for the Associated Press. Thank you very much. You know, we watched this last night. It was very exciting. I mean, I stayed up until all hours waiting for a result, as I'm sure most of us at home were as well, and still nothing. The hope was for Republicans that Saccone would outperform in absentee ballots the way he did in regular votes. In Westmoreland County, where he got 57% of the vote, Washington County, where he got 53.3%, and Greene County, 58%. He did really well there. And so he was hoping, I guess, to pick up those two Westmoreland precincts to possibly make up for Lamb's 641 vote margin. What say you? 100% of the votes counted. One county in the four-county district yet to count its absentee ballots. He's holding out on those before he concedes, right?
Well, that's an incredibly narrow margin. I think the grand total is something in the neighborhood of 200,000 votes cast, and we're looking at just 600 votes. Now, like you said, this is just one county, and it takes a lot. Remember, it's not all going to come in just Lamb or all just Saccone votes. There's going to be a split depending upon how this comes in, but it's also still too close to call. I mean, it seems like we have these races every few months recently, these special elections and whatnot, where we're all up all night and we have no idea at the end of it because it's so evenly split.
You know, it's going to be very interesting. No matter who wins here officially, they will have to rerun in November. And so they will have a chance to, you know, the American public and in that district will have a chance to see how they vote. But it's interesting regarding on how the Democrat in this race, Conor Lamb, votes and how he seems to be showing in red districts, you know, that really painting a new light on how Democrats are actually going to maybe win their success come November by supporting Republican issues. I mean, Lamb claims to be pro-life, pro-tax cut, pro-tariff, anti-Pelosi. Not good news for Senators Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren.
Right. You know, I think there's an interesting dynamic at play here, which, you know, if you're Democrats, you have to worry about here, which is you have a riled up base right now, and that provides you the energy and the votes going into the midterms. That's how midterms usually work. The out-of-power party has the energy and the passion and drives out voters more often than the people, the party that owns the White House, controlling the White House. So that's just traditionally how things work. But you have to worry about moderate to conservative districts like this, where if somebody wins Democratic primary who's maybe a little too liberal for the district, they might not carry through. This is kind of the same thing the Tea Party and establishment Republicans went through in 2010, 2012. I remember the Indiana Senate race where the Democrat Joe Donnelly won essentially because Richard Murdoch was a little too far right for the state as a whole. So there's a lot of questions. None of this is sealed yet.
You know, regardless of the outcome, this is a shift in politics. Some, you know, politicians need to pay very close attention to because it's the tightness of this race that speaks volumes. I want you to listen to this.
Even if Lamb had lost this race by a very close margin or for some reason the numbers change, the result for the rest of the country is still compelling because this sends warning signs that Republicans could be in serious trouble in varying districts across the country.
Now, you may remember the president's visit to Moon Township last weekend. It was a huge push by the president in a district he won by nearly 20 percentage points. So then one has to beg the question, what did Saccone do wrong?
He might not have done anything wrong. I mean, sometimes you just can't hit the wave right. I remember there was a tweet last night from David Jolly, a former congressman, a Republican congressman from Florida, talking about how he might run again at some point, but this is not the year he would do that. You know, when you look at this, there's two broader forces at play if you're a candidate for anything, Senate, House, President, whatever. You have to look at who the candidate is, and you have to look at where the atmosphere is, where the environment is. Some things you can change. Now, I'm thinking about Jon Ossoff in the Georgia special election last year to replace Tom Price, and the atmosphere was right for a Democrat. It was a suburban district. Probably the right Democrat would have won, but he had a fatal flaw. He didn't live in the district. So this corrected that. This is a course correction. The right candidate in the right atmosphere will very often win. But again, these are often at the margins. We're not talking about big swings here one way or the other.
All right, Tom LoBianco, thank you very much. We await
Thanks.
the official word.